look at this group, how would you characterize what they stand for? And do they stand for something important as it pertains to the future of this country?
If you take a look at the group in this one park that we have, it's a whole bunch of people that are just disaffected. They don't know what's wrong. They say, we don't know what we want, but we want it now. They want to be able to have something change so that their lives are going to be better. And they express it by camping out and yelling and screaming and that sort of thing. It's not their job to solve the problems. It's the job of the government and the press and those of us that have some insight on how policies affect people. This is a part of a much bigger thing that we should really be focusing on.
A legitimate movement?
Pardon?
A legitimate movement?
It's not I don't know what a movement is.
Why did you become police
If you go 1 block away from this park, you would never know it exists.
Bullshit! Bullshit!
I will say, in all fairness to the people down there, when they protest, they march in a line, they stay on the sidewalks, they follow the direction of the police. We watch very carefully. They generally do not break the law. Unfortunately, the park was becoming a place where people came not to protest, but rather to break laws, and in some cases to harm others. We could not wait for someone in the park to get killed or to injure another first responder before acting. At 1 o'clock this morning, the New York City Police Department notified protesters in the park that they had to immediately remove tents, sleeping bags, and other belongings.
They were just like stomping it down. Like they went over to the medical tent with a knife and just started like hacking at the strings that were holding it up.
Over time, I've become increasingly concerned that the occupation was coming to pose a health and fire safety hazard to the protesters and to the surrounding community.
We are a health and safety risk. We have doctors and medics in there assessing the situation at all times. Over we have fire hazard. Almost every tent had a fire extinguisher in them.
Police department, and I don't agree with what you said about some things they've done. If nobody reports a problem to them, they can't do anything. They have maintained order.
What's going on? What's going on?
Police are beating the people with billy clubs now. Beating them with billy clubs. They're getting women.
The person singled me out and pinned me down and said to her, arrest her. Pushed me face down into the sidewalk.
He's subject to arrest, but he was subject to get your head smashed in.
Members of the NYPD and Sanitation Department assisted in removing any remaining tents and sleeping bags.
Right here is a bookshelf, it looks like, in this rubble.
I just picked up a book. It's Brave New World Revisited by Aldous Huxley.
Where are you taking this stuff? Yes, to the dogs. Say that again. Say that again. Don't say that.
This action was taken at this time of the day to reduce the risk of confrontation in the park and to minimize disruption to the surrounding neighborhood.
This is a peaceful protest. 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 Under arrest. I'm a reporter. I'm a reporter. Under arrest. I'm a reporter. I am a journalist.
Protesters were asked to temporarily leave the park while this occurred and were told that they would be free to return to the park once Brookfield finished cleaning. Let me conclude by thanking the NYPD for their professionalism earlier this morning. But make no mistake, The final decision to act was mine, and mine alone.
Well, Kevin, we're about 3 hours into this day-long Occupy Wall Street event marking the 2-month anniversary of this movement that began here in New York. Dozens of people have been arrested. Sound cannons have already been used. Women tackled to the ground, hauled off in vans.
No right is absolute, and with every right comes responsibility. The First Amendment gives every New Yorker the right to speak out, but it does not give anyone the right to sleep in a park or otherwise take it over to the exclusion of others, nor does it permit anyone in our society to live outside the law.
Our history is a country founded by and invigorated by and reinvigorated by protest.
More than 4,000 peaceful protesters have been arrested nationwide. Any other country doing that would be internationally reprimanded for violating human rights.
And as the number of protesters has grown, this has created an intolerable situation.
What, intolerant of the protesters? This is not a permission granted by some kind of overlord for the First Amendment.
We have an obligation to enforce the laws today to make sure that everybody has access to the park so everybody can protest. That's the First Amendment.
He cares about the First Amendment. That's why he's shutting down their protest and the right to speak so that other people can come by passively to the park and not use the First Amendment. Have you ever heard of a dumber argument or a more obvious lie in your life?
We need you, Michael Bloomberg. We need you to keep making these mistakes. Tone-deaf, sensibility-offending, world-changing mistakes like the pepper spray and the Brooklyn Bridge and the paramilitary assault on Occupy Wall Street last night. These freedoms will not be restored to us in just the next 2 years. I'm endorsing you for a 4th term. Your nation needs you, Mr. Mayor. Occupy needs you. Bloomberg now, Bloomberg tomorrow, Bloomberg forever.